At some point, I started really looking at my faith or at this Jesus thing. At that point, like, I had heard all the stories of Jesus and all this stuff so many times that I'm just like, okay, yeah, I get it, love everybody, show everybody the love of Jesus and make good choices, don't do this, this, and that. Growing up as somebody who was very much the rule follower, that was also really all it was sort of following rules. I grew up in church, and for the most part, it was my parents' faith, because you show up because they say you have to. It's pretty easy to just, show up, listen to the message or to the teaching, answer questions, and then, go home for the week. I got thinking, well, I can be a nice person without having to follow rules. If this is really all it is, I'm basically doing a good job. So why does Jesus have to be in this picture? And so for all of my senior year of high school, I didn't really follow Jesus. It was just sort of living life. It was more just doing my own thing, just generally being nice to people, which is what Christianity seemed like anyways. And then I went to CIY Move, a high school camp that the church went to. My dad said, you should go. And I was like, I don't know. Reluctantly, I show up for the first day of camp, and one of my friends was like, I'm so glad you're coming, even though it's not really your area anymore. Well, I found out that kid had brought his friend who was atheist. And so I was like, okay, there's like two of us, there's somebody I can relate to. The last night, the last session, that kid who didn't really believe in Jesus went up and surrendered to Jesus. And that shocked me more than anything. After we go into our last small group and we talk about it, and I'm sort of wrestling with that fact that just happened at the session prior. And I say to my leader, it's like, I don't really know, and I don't feel like I have all the answers, but that didn't just happen for no reason. You can chalk it up to be whatever you want, but all of those reasons have to have been made possible by something. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna give this whole Jesus thing another try. So we get back to Vegas, I start going to church, and I start asking questions, which I didn't realize how powerful questions would be, and I didn't really realize that asking questions is perfectly normal. I got a lot of good out of that, but I noticed that for all of my life, I've been very arm distant, very much, I keep people out here, I love you and I think you're great, as long as it's not closer than this. And so at one point I finally was like, I'm tired of struggling with things alone. I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And so it took a lot, but I was like, okay, let's start this journey from this point. I finally went to people and I said, hey, I struggle with all these personal things that I've struggled with for a really long time, and I didn't ask anybody for help. But I'm really tired of doing that. It's a lot of work. It was really refreshing to have this group of people who come from all different walks of life and might have all different viewpoints on the same topic. Your world seems to open up so much more. We were built to make connections and share laughs and tears. And it was from that moment where my story went from being closed off and arm distant from people and shifted to being open and surrendered to God and His plan.